All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to yoga. All right, that's very yoga. Sorry, Laura. Laura's like, oh my gosh. So let's come to seated here. I'm using one of my blocks to lift my hips up. It's always nice to start with your hips a little bit higher than your knees here. If you have a blanket or some pillows, you can do that. If you're just watching along and you're sitting in your chair at your desk, that's awesome. You can do these opening kind of breath moves with us if you so choose. If you're lurking, keep on lurking. So the hands are on the thighs. Whatever is going to be comfortable for you. It doesn't need to look like this. It doesn't need to look like me. And we're just going to breathe. You can even close the eyes here. Feel the crown of your head being pulled up towards the ceiling. So your whole body sits a little bit taller. Your neck gets a little bit longer. You can imagine that we've clamped your rib cage and drawn it upwards. So with that taller seated position here, it's a little bit more effort to hold, but you may notice that you feel a little more stacked, especially if we've been working at the computer for a lot of the morning. This can be nice to just kind of reset your posture here. We'll begin with some breathing. Just bringing your attention to the breath. And we're going to take over with some conscious breathing, meaning that we're going to elongate the inhale. Really take your sweet time, filling up down into the belly and into the sides of the body here. And exhale, let it all out. Now I'm breathing through my mouth so you can get kind of an oral cue, but do try to keep your breathing in and out through the nose as best you can. Some of you might even have what's called a ujjayi breath, which is just a small constriction of the throat as if you were fogging a mirror. But if you close your mouth, you can still create an audible sound with your breath, even through your nose. Okay, so we call that ujjayi breath. And it slows the breath down, so that we can focus on this really relaxed inhale and a really luxurious exhale. Using these conscious breaths here to slow things down, slowing the physical body down, but also bringing our mind into this practice. Now, I tend to teach a little bit more kind of silly, upbeat yoga, so it may not be as like laser locked in, but even though we're silly in this class, the intention is there, right? And sometimes you might hear that in a yoga class where the yoga teacher will say, let's set an intention for class. And I'm going to invite you to do the same. What does that mean, though? We're continuing to breathe as I'm talking about this, really slowing down your breath cycle. But when we set an intention, we set a purpose for why we're here. Maybe the intention is dedicating your practice to somebody that you love, or somebody that you want to send good energy to. Maybe your intention is just, hey, I've set this hour aside to move my body, and I'm going to really be here and feel all of the stuff in the body. So we're moving with intention. So it can be nice when you sit down either for yoga or for a workout session or for meditation to have an intention in your mind, a goal, a North Star, if you will. So as we move through the practice, you can kind of remember that. You know, maybe somebody is feeling sick in your life, and you want to just like pour all of this movement towards them, you know, in their honor. Let's start moving the head and the neck. So you can keep your eyes closed for this if you'd like. Chin drops down and slowly rolling around. Nice. Oh, welcome, Dark Abyss. I heard the chat popping off while I had my eyes closed here. Now we're going really slow here, seeing what we can feel through the neck, through the shoulders. Hey, Jonas, welcome. Glad to have you here. We're just going through some yoga. We're just starting up class, so feel free to join in or just keep watching along. Oops. Yep, keep moving your neck there. I need to adjust something on my screen here so that I can see Laura. Perfecto. And we're switching directions if you haven't. Noticing what we feel as you go slowly in these circles. It's a simple movement, but can be very powerful if we're moving with intention. We're not just phoning in these movements. We're going through every little inch, noticing what it feels like. I mean, as you get better at honing into the body, you can also start to tap into some emotional responses that are tied into movement too. That's how powerful some of this movement stuff can be. Good. Let's bring that head back to center here. We're going to stack that head directly on top of the shoulders here. And imagine that your chin is just on a rail system here, just a track. I'm going to use a hand right here on the collarbones, and the bottom hand is on the middle of the ribs here. I'm going to press my chin forward. You can see in the side cam, I'm not dropping my chin. I'm just kind of turtlenecking my head forward. And then the real good stuff, I'm going to use my hand to just kind of, well, to demonstrate the action of sliding that head back. So again, it's not a head sliding back and looking up. We're just trying to imagine our head on this forward and back track. It's like you're taking a book out of the bookshelf and then tucking that book back into the bookshelf. Okay, really good movement for the neck there. And you may notice when we're on our computer or our phones, this forward jutted head is kind of the norm. So sliding this head back, we start to feel some interesting stretches that come up the neck. We can feel some really interesting stretches and sensations going on. Yes, Deneve says it's like counteracting the nerd neck from the smartphones. Exactly. And we're going to utilize this in some of the other positions that we're in today. So just this sliding back of the neck can be really an interesting movement. Kind of exploring there. And it may be hard to slide it back. You can also imagine if your back was against the wall, that you were just trying to touch the back of the skull to the wall behind you. Sometimes that cue helps a little bit better. Not the crown of the head. If we tipped the head up, we would be touching with the crown of the head. Think of the back of the skull there. Nice. Good. So let's drop the arms down alongside the body. Start drawing the shoulder blades into big circles here. Go slowly and see how large of a circle you can create. So again, if we're moving with intention, we feel some muscular action drawing us into this movement. Good. Reverse the direction here. We're going to take this into a little bit of a deeper position here in just a moment. Good. Let's shake out the shoulders and the arms here. As you inhale, let's sweep the arms out wide and then up tall. As we get to the top, notice that the rib cage kind of widens open. Hey, Fitnish, welcome. Hey, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. And as we exhale, hands coming down to the side. We're just getting started with class here, so feel free to join in if you want, or just, keep lurking if you want. So we're pairing this movement with our breath. As we inhale, we're going wide and then going tall. Feel those rib cage widening up like an umbrella opening. And as you exhale, arms come down there. And I've got my arms back. If you look at the side cam, you can see that my arms are back behind me a little bit. So as I reach and drop, I'm actually getting a little bit of a secondary stretch across the chest, across the collarbones here. See if you can feel that. We got some followers going on here. Fitness, you can't, this is just getting awkward here if you're following people around. Inhale, big reach. And exhale. See what you start to feel here in the shoulders themselves, maybe in some of the muscles, the shoulder blades, breathing in. And exhale. Wonderful. Good. Last time here. And we breathe it down. That's how you find great streamers. That's right, Fitness. It's all about connecting here. All right, so let's grab your yoga block if you have one. Again, if you don't have a yoga block, totally fine. You can use, what is it, the Chicago Book of Design that you have, Laura? Perfect. We're going to take our blade hands. We're going to clamp down on our block or whatever we're using here. Finger guns. And we're going to bring that block out in front of us. Now, whatever you have, imagine that your two blade hands are crushing whatever your implement. So you feel a little bit of squeeze coming in through the arms, through the shoulders, and through the pec, almost like a chest, like a pec fly, okay, for you lifters out there. So arms are straight, matey. I guess I'm a pirate today. And we've got that squeeze going on. We're going to go through those shoulder circles with a little bit more muscular activation because we're trying to crush this cork block. Good luck. I think maybe only Kittens, Kilos, and Kung Fu would be able to actually crush this cork block. I've seen him do his iron palm. The OG fitness. Yes. Yeah, exactly. We're here before it's cool. The hidden gems of Twitch. I love that. Let's reverse the direction here. You may notice a different sensation now. Oh, I'm shaking in my arms here. Really feeling the articulation of the shoulder blades that slide across the back of your rib cage there. Good. Let's take the block up and overhead. Okay, same idea. We're trying to iron paws, crush into that block here. As we inhale, let the shoulders come way up. It's like the fingertips want to reach up towards the sky, and as you exhale, pack those shoulder blades down. Okay? Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, drop it down. So on Thursdays, I tend to focus a little bit more on upper body, a little more core. Tuesdays tends to be more hips, lower body. You're going to feel some heat. One more here. Good. This time we're going to go into a side bend with that crunching going in. So we're inhaling, getting tall, crush the block, exhale. We're going to side bend over to the right. It may not be as far as you can go because we've got the shoulders working here. Let's breathe 3 breaths. My shoulders are burning here. Try to crush it. Try to keep these elbows straight. There's 2. And 1. Good. Let's inhale, come back to center. Exhale, go to the other side. We're almost done. Yes. You're wishing you didn't grab that big of a book now, Laura, huh? Oh, so I'm getting lazy with my bottom arm. So I'm going to inhale, try to reach fingertips away from me. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath. Woo! Let's bring it back to center. Drop that block down. Whoa! Shake those shoulders out. Shake that thing. Then really want up. Okay, so we're going to come into all fours. Let's move through the spine a little bit here. This one's in every one of my classes, this little cat-cow. So I'll show you the different places, different variations that you might try in your own body. So as we inhale, we're going to arch the spine. We're looking up. We're sending the tailbone up towards the sky. This is spinal extension. Feel all the upper back, mid and upper back muscles working. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, peek underneath your body, really round through the upper back here. This is spinal flexion. You'll feel your abs, maybe your glutes as you tuck that pelvis under you. So you can keep going with this motion. Some of you might just want to go freestyle with it, kind of like interpretive dance. I had somebody in here on stream the other day saying it looked like this was like an exorcism. So this is cool because, yeah, the old meow and moo. That's right. That's what I call it sometimes. Yeah, we're going to go into the old meow and moo. But for a little bit more advanced movers, we may try to focus on that same arch and rounding, but one segment at a time. So if I'm in my arch here, I'm going to start at my tailbone and see if I can segment that movement like a wave up the spine. Right? And then the same thing when I'm rounded, I'm tipping my pelvis, I'm dropping the belly, dropping the ribs. Much harder to do that piece by piece. It takes practice. If it doesn't come right away, just give it time. Move more slowly and visualize it. Sometimes we have to visualize that movement. If you have somebody there to help you, they can give you like a little tactile tapping up your spine, which does help you to kind of feel it in your body. But you can do the best that you can here to start at your tailbone, and I'm going to walk that movement up the back. So I'm not letting my head come down yet. I'm trying to let that rounding move up the spine. Spinal articulation. Wonderful. Okay, so let's come down into our puppy pose. I like this one a lot. It's kind of like child's pose if you're familiar, but we're going to keep the thighs vertical. Okay? Walk the hands forward. Palms pressing down into the floor. They're straight, they're strong, they're reaching forward. Chest and chin drop down between. Let me scooch back. Hi. Towards the floor there. Okay. So I'm active in my arms here. I'm not just kind of lazily resting my forearms. I'm trying to reach fingertips out and trying to pry the forearms off the floor so most of my weight, all of my weight, is down into my palms, and then that chest dropping through. Hey, what's up? Mr. Toast Ghost. Yeah, you've been following me on IG. I appreciate it. Yes, we are now on Twitch. I'm probably more on Twitch than Instagram these days, to be honest. Burrito pose? Yes, you can call this burrito pose. All right. So what I like to do here, this is a nice stretch through the lats, through the shoulders a little bit. You might feel some stretch, but we're getting this really active spinal extension. And Mr. Toast Ghost, welcome. Thank you for finding me here on Twitch. I appreciate it. Happy to have you here. So I like this static position, but you can also start to do that, the old meow and move from this shape as well. And it's a whole different action. We've got these muscles, the serratus anterior, kind of wrap around the rib cage. They pull the shoulder blade forward and around, which is really important in overhead positions here. So when we are in this puppy pose and we push into the palms and dome the upper back, you may feel this dull squeezing sensations of muscles right under the armpits here. And that's part of the serratus anterior firing. It takes a little practice to feel into those muscles, but with great serratus comes great responsibility. Hold on, that was a dad joke. We got to add that to the tally. All right, so let's come forward. Ooh, that's feeling good. Let's sink back into a traditional child's pose, not an extended. So we're going to bring knees together. We're going to sit the butt to the heels, forehead down, and arms come down alongside the body. Oh. So as the arms just go dead here, shoulder heads wrap forward,
And just let gravity pull you into this protracted position through the shoulder blades, meaning shoulder blades spread apart across the back of the rib cage. And they're almost like sliding forward around the rib cage. Wonderful. Just giving those shoulders a little bit of a break. Good. All right. So let's bring it back up. Let's get into our downward facing dog. Yeah, put that in the Rolodex for sure. So for down dog, it's our kind of iconic yoga position. Hold on, we got it. DFD. We're going to curl the toes, send the hips up into the air. Kadoosh. And we're in this inverted V shape here. And the first one of your day, or the first one that you've done in a while, just allow the knees to be a little softer here. Heels can be as high up off the ground as they need to be here. But we do want to get the chest through the arms as much as possible. Okay? If you're more advanced in yoga, we've got Uddiyana Bandha, right? This inward pressing of the abdominals, but that's a little more subtle, a little more advanced. Oh, hey, Stream Elements, thank you for that. I just set that one up yesterday. I'm really happy with that counter. And that same breath that we started class with, really long inhales, equal or even longer exhales, that happens here, slowing things down, almost finding a calmness in this. Good. Let's inhale forward into a plank shape and hold here. Okay, try to get your butt flat, like your body in one long line. And mine's a little booped up because I've got a little bit of a rump roast back there. So I'm just trying to tuck my pelvis. And then I'm straightening my legs. Okay, strong push away. And we breathe. Same slow inhales. Try to feel calmness here. Even when it gets tough, we can use the breath to keep things level. And anytime you need to take a rest, please do. One more strong breath here. And exhale, lower the knees first. Then the chest and the chin drop between the hands. This is like our modified vinyasa here. As you inhale, slide things forward and up. So the belly flattens, but the chest and the head lift. Let's just hold here for a moment. So the hands can help press you up here. You'll probably start to feel the mid-back muscles here. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, squeeze the elbows into the midline. There we start to feel some lats, some back of the shoulder muscles, rear delts. If you want even more, hands can float off the ground. And that same head sliding, like the book in a bookshelf here, we can tuck the chin and slide it backwards. Okay, so I'm kind of trying to create a double chin action through my head. And I'm breathing. Keep that elbow squeeze. It's like you've got a beach ball behind you that you're trying to hold with your elbows. Let's go one more breath here. Very nice. Let's go to forehead on the mat here. Now we're going to position our elbows out in front of us. Okay? Hands are in prayer. And you can get a little bit of a stretch here through the triceps. And imagine, so this cue may go over your head. It's not intended to be so. It's a little bit more subtle, but I'm going to try to wrap my armpits, or like hug my armpits together. Pilates Mama, welcome! Sup? Also, shout out. Where are you? My shout-outs work today. Pilates Mama is an excellent Pilates teacher here on Twitch. Definitely give her a follow, check her out. She'll probably be teaching tonight. So here I have this flat position with my elbows And I'm kind of just letting my prayer hands come together. Now, the closer my thumbs get to the back of my neck, the more of a tricep stretch that I get. And the closer the elbows come in towards each other, and we're hugging in the armpits. It's like the armpits are hugging into your rib cage. Hopefully that'll get us a little bit of that serratus activation. Now, if you have blocks and you want to go a little bit deeper, set them on the first level, about shoulder width apart, and then we can place the elbows on top. And then we can let that forehead rest. So you can see that the elbows are now propped up higher than my head. And I can go anywhere along this. So this is nice. As I bring my kind of prayer hands to my upper back, I get this really cool tricep stretch. Now, for you mega advanced, now this is only if you have the blocks and you understand that armpit hugging cue. So I'm going to press into my hands. I'm going to wrap into the armpits. And keeping my forehead close to the floor, I'm going to push down into my elbows and try to just dome my sternum, my chest bone, off of the floor. Holding there, 10, 9, 8. We're really feeling that serratus interior here. That kind of like those little riblet muscles that you might see in comic book characters. Like the little rib fingers. They pull the shoulder blades around the rib cage. And let's relax from there. Good. Straighten the arms. Come out carefully here, especially if you were doing that more active variation there. Pilates mama, love having you here. Oh my gosh, I ordered one of these rings. Where is it? Where's my ring? Oh, it's outside because I was using it yesterday. I got one of the Pilates rings off of Pilates Mama's site, and it is great. She showed me how to use it to pump up my booty. Let's come back to downward facing dog. But it's a really nice tool, the Pilates Magic Ring. If you've never used one, super, super cool. Now, you can stay static here, but because this is a little bit more of an upper body focused class, if you want to take it a little bit more advanced, we can put weight into the left hand, get light in the right hand. Okay, maybe you just shift back and forth, go up to this tenting action on the hands there. Maybe you go completely weightless in your right hand, and you can grab for your left ankle. Okay, just kind of alternating here, feeling how the weight gets distributed into that shoulder, but also the shoulder girdle. And when we say shoulder girdle, we're talking about not just the shoulder joint here, but all these muscles that help support the shoulder joint, that kind of engage or control the shoulder blade, all that good stuff. Right On Fitness, thank you for hanging out for a little bit. Really appreciate it. Good. Let's walk the feet to the top of the mat. And let's droop the head, droop the arms, let everything just go. Let's relax here. I like to shake head yes and no. Nice. I'm just exploring different neck angles here in this forward fold, because as we're inverted, it gives you a whole different set of sensations as we move the neck around. So feel free to explore. I always say in my class, the reason I call it Yoga Playground is because I want to give you the chance. It's like a sandbox, right? We get to be here. There's a little bit of structure, but if you want to go and play and explore something on your own and catch up, totally fine. Good. Let the hands down to the floor. If you had any clasps or binds going on, let's bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale. Fold. Let's inhale, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, arms alongside the body here. Good. So let's do a little bit of that little halo movement that we did last week. I think it's a really good one here. So there's an option just to stand firm, hip distance apart. If you want to challenge your balance, we can go onto one foot with a toe kickstand, or we can do this stork style, right, on one leg here. So we're going to take our left hand to the hip. Okay, I'm going to do both feet planted terra firma here. I'm going to take that right hand and I'm going to reach it out, spin the palm forward and then up towards the sky so we get that external rotation through the shoulder. Now I'm going to turn that thumb down, palm into me, like I'm kind of slicking back the hair on the side of my left head there. And I come out and around. And you'll notice on the side cam here, I'm kind of back outside of my body line, so I'm getting this chest stretch, especially when I spin my palm to the sky. So let's try this a couple times. Let's inhale, breathing into the right ribs as we go around the head, and exhale. I'm feeling that stretch all along the neck, shoulder, pec as you do that. Let's do a couple more here. Inhale. Yeah. Fossils in your backyard. Yeah, they're just everywhere. You just got to dig in the sand for them. Like 2 inches down, you'll find dinosaur bones. Good. And if you want to get a little bit more like nuanced with it, you can take your left hand from your rib to the bottom ribs and make sure that those ribs stay pressed down, right? So we inhale. Especially as we get around here, the ribs are going to want to flare forward. Press them down. Get that stretch, and we come down. Good. Let's shake that out. And I'm just drawing an infinity with my arm to get that, right? And you can make it big. Good. So if you were just using your forearm here, consider using the entire arm to make a bigger infinity. You know, because infinity is bigger. Good. Oh, did my stream go out? Oh, no. No. Shoot. Goodness. Well, Laura, you're here. You still get to see it. I see nothing. Oh, no. They're all having trouble. We're going to do the other side, Laura. They'll catch up. I think it's on the Twitch side because I am hardwired into this bad boy. All right, so we've got our right hand on the hip. Tony is stuck feeling my left ear, apparently, Laura. This stream is like, we'll be back in a moment. All right, we're back now. Sorry about that, everyone. I am hardwired now, so it must be on the Twitch side. But Laura's all good. We're just going into the other side. So again, we can stand firm on 2 feet. We can do that foot kickstand. We can do stork style if you want to work on your balance while you're doing these. Okay, so right hand on the hip, left arm out. May I have this dance, radiator? Thank you. So I got my palm turned forward and up, and so we got that external rotation, and it's behind my body a little bit, so I'm getting this nice stretch that goes down, pec, shoulder, little bicep action as well. Okay. Jumping channels help me. Oh, okay, interesting. That's weird that it does that. I don't know why. So I'm going to come up and around. Hopefully it doesn't freeze on me feeling up my right ear. And as I come around, I'm going to try to keep that external rotation. Only my arm, not my whole body, right? Because we want this kind of a stretch. In fact, let me do it from this angle here so you can kind of see it from a different side. So just breathing so you can kind of hear the cues. Inhale up and across. And as I'm inhaling, I'm trying to fill into the left ribs as I reach across the face. In your face. Whoop. Okay, so I felt my ribs flare a little bit as I went overhead. So I'm going to take my right hand that was on my hips and just give myself a gentle reminder on the low ribs to keep those pressed down. So let's try it. Inhale. Oh, right on. Thank you for being here, everybody. And thanks for the patience when it does freeze. I try to wait for you all, but try to keep it flowing as much as possible. I always appreciate you guys being patient when it does go down, though. And thank you for being here. Let's do one more. Good. All right, so we're going to kind of shake it out. You can start with just a small infinity. I'm just using my forearm, and then you can start to make it a little bit bigger. Any sword fighters in the room here today? I don't know if this is a sword fighting move or not, but it just feels good. And you can see that I'm using kind of the roll of my trunk to my advantage here. Good. All right. Let's go back down to the floor. I want to do some stuff. There's going to be an opportunity to do some handstand kickups just to work on the technique, or handstand full inversion. So if you're following along and you have some wall space, I really highly recommend setting up to go over to the wall space here. Laura, I don't know if you're going to try these or not. Even just the kick-up drills without going all the way upside down will still be good to build strength, endurance, and start to get some of the techniques without even going all the way upside down. So all levels are welcome. Let's get down there. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, folding forward. Hey, Josephine, you're in my way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to bend the knees to plant hands on the floor. If you know how to hop back, you can do that, or we can just step one foot, then the other. So a full chaturanga here is a little bit harder, so you can always take that knees, chest, and chin variation, but the chaturanga, elbows stay in tight. We're going to press off the toes to come forward and then lower about halfway down. You'll notice I stop in line with my elbows. I flip my toes, inhale, straighten the arms, which lifts my chest. My thighs are floating, you can see. And then exhale. We got DFD. Nice. So cool. I love that little. My sister made that, everyone. So we're breathing here. Again, if you want to try that single arm where we reach for the opposite, you can here. Let's not burn ourselves out too much, though, because I'm going to work some of these kick-up moves, all right? So from our downward facing dog, we're going to tiptoe the feet forward so that our shoulders start to, no problem, Venus the Planet. Thank you for hanging out for a little bit. Hopefully we'll see you in another stream. I do these Tuesdays and Thursdays, so. All right, so we've walked our feet forward. We're in a very steep downward facing dog, and I've got my weight in my hands here, okay? So level one, just getting used to the handstand kick-up. I mean, most people just go right for the kick-up, but there's some stuff that we can do. If we were talking about the rungs on the progression ladder, there are a couple of rungs below kicking up to handstand that we can work on to build some awareness here. Well, yeah, that's right. So we're going to walk forward. We're going to feel our weight shift into the hands there. Now, the closer you can get your feet to the hands, the better, because we need to get into this, what we call hip compression, where this hip angle is really closing down. Sorry, my shirt keeps coming up here. Right? So we try to come up onto our tiptoes here, and we just lean forward, feel weight into the hands, feel the abs kind of drawing the hip up towards the sky. So you can hold that for a breath or two. And then come back down. And then when you shift backwards, you can come onto your feet and just kind of like hang out in your forward fold and give your arms a little bit of a break. Okay? So if you're just new to this, feel free to just feel that weight shifting going on. Okay? If you're like, yeah, okay, I got that one, no problem. Now we do it with one leg lifted. Okay? So we feel a little bit more of a stretch. We feel more weight into the hands. Okay? So we're going up to the next rung there. So I've got my hands, fingers are spread. I'm up on my tiptoes. I feel that weight shift. And one leg goes into the air. Hold for a breath or two. And then you can come back down. All right. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we shift forward, feel weight into the hands. Maybe the other leg comes up. Feel your booty get strong. And then we lower that down. Okay. Try one or two more on your own if you're following along. I'm going to do a little bit of a wrist shake out before we go into some of the kick-up variations. And if you already know how to handstand and you feel comfortable going up on your own on the wall, I'm not there to watch you. Be careful, please. You're more than welcome to go for it. Okay? So I'm going to just move my wrists around here. That same kind of infinity sign that we trace with the arm, I'm just going to do with my wrists. So I tuck my elbows in tight. I'll come close so you can see what's going on. And I'm just going to use my wrists to go through an infinity. You can see here that I'm not using my whole forearm. I'm really just trying to isolate it to the wrist there. Good. Okay. So if you felt like those last two variations were plenty for you, let's stay with that, okay? If you want a little bit more, if you felt like lifting that leg up into the air was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. My wrists, your wrists are okay, shoulders felt all right. Then we can start to feel some hops. Now we're just going to do some hop ups, not with the intention of kicking up and staying in a handstand. Just hop to get off the ground so that your body can feel what it's like to feel all of your weight into your arms and what it feels like to stay rigid and active when you're doing your kick-ups. So the setup will be the same. So if we're in downward facing dog, we're going to walk the feet about halfway up, right? So we're in this very steep downward facing dog, okay? Now I'm going to send my one leg back as if I'm just touching the ground with my tiptoes. And so I've really got to point my toe. I've got to firm up my leg here. And this front leg is like our little spring. That's what we're going to bounce off of that, but we're going to use this straight leg as our little whip. Okay? So what I'm going to do is just practice like 2 or 3 whips of just the leg. I'm not going to use any bounce here. Just start to feel the momentum here. And then maybe you can start to just pick up that front foot just a little bit. And my goal isn't to go all the way to inversion. It's just to feel a slight lift off with control. You'll notice my leg didn't bend, or if it did, very minimally. We're not just like kicking up noodle legs, right? Because that's going to be really hard. We're not connected to our core. Our legs are off. It's going to be really hard to find a balance point when you've got a plate of spaghetti from the waist down, okay? So try that a few times. Maybe 3 to 5, and then switch, right? One side's going to feel quite foreign, especially if you're used to doing these on just one side. So take your time. There we go. Kitten's got the noodles, the bowl of noodles there. So take your time on the side that feels a little bit more foreign. Notice how the legs stay straight and strong. You may be feel more connected to your core doing these variations here. Now, if you're familiar with kicking up into the wall, it's just the same. I was demoing this on Tuesday. What I like to do is just a small, medium, and large kick up to get to that inversion. So I'm going to assume there is an invisible wall here. And if you have gone into kick-ups, you might try these as well. Okay, this is probably the most advanced thing we're going to do today. We're going to take it way down after this. So bear with me. Hang in there. Okay, so what I mean by the small, medium, large, I'm going to try to do a small hop. a medium hop. Maybe on your large, you can find the balance point. And I'm going to stay in that Y. Why? Because the split leg helps us to find that balance point a little bit easier. That was one of my big aha moments. I wasn't trying to be too quick bringing the second leg up because it always brought me too far over. The second big reason is that it teaches us to stay rigid in our legs. If I kick up and I'm noodly with this top leg, the weight of this split leg behind me is going to pull me back down. So when we small, medium, and large, this keeps me a little bit tighter. If I go loose, I fall down. Okay, so it's just a really good drill. It may be harder at first. It may feel like it takes you back in terms of your handstand kick-up progress, but I swear it will be taking 2 steps back so that you can progress much further in the weeks, months, and years to come. So let's do those little wrist love in there, especially if you were feeling some tightness. All right, so we've got our little infinities that we're creating with our wrists. Let's bring hands into prayer. Keep the heels of the palms pressed together as we push that prayer down towards the belt buckle. Again, the heels are going to want to peel apart, the old heel peel. Try to keep them pressed together so that we get this stretch. And I like to kind of press into one fingertip and press into the other side fingertips. Good. Then we can take that prayer, flip it upside down. And now we're trying to bring the heel of the palm up to your chin. Right? So if you're not used to doing that many kick-ups, sometimes it can feel like a lot on the wrists. So we just want to give them some loving. Now I'm sitting in this Sesa squat is what we call it. You can see that my toes are flipped and I'm sitting my butt to heels. However you need to sit, you can curl the toes under there. I always say the one that feels less comfortable is probably the one that we need to spend a little bit more time in. But you don't need to force yourself into it. You can always prop things under there or adjust your position if it just becomes a little bit too much. One more for the wrists here. We're going to take both arms, reaching them out in front of each other. We're going to turn the palms away, cross the right wrist over the left wrist, interlace fingers. We're going to drop the knuckles down, through, and forward. Ooh, my wrists are tight today. I almost, if you don't get to all the way straight and you just start to this bent position, that might be enough. Over time, I had to kind of like get past that. Nice. Yeah, Denis was saying he was overcommitting on some, and that's pretty common. I mean, it's exciting to kick yourself up into the wall. Ooh, I'm going to go into bent elbow a little bit because with the straight wrist, I was able to get there, but it was just pulling a little too much. So this is where we learn to listen to our body. We don't want to force anything. If I were to stay there, I think it could have been a recipe for injury there. So let's unwind out of this. I'm going to pull the knuckles into me, graze the chest bone, and unwind. Okay? We can shake it out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. What's that face, Laura? Are your wrists okay? Ow, yeah, ow. Hopefully not severe pain, right? We have a whole spectrum of sensation in our body. At the very end, it's like excruciating pain, like hot, electric. We don't want to be there. Then there's like severe discomfort, right? And then we've got like just mild discomfort, maybe muscular fatigue. That's kind of the range that we want to be in, like the edge of discomfort, muscular fatigue, hot pain, electric pain. We want to stay away from that, okay? So let's go to the other side. We're going to turn the palms away. Left wrist goes over the right wrist. Interlace the fingers. If you can remember, try to switch your interlace. It's the one that feels really weird and foreign. That's probably the one, okay? So knuckles drop down, they graze the chest bone, and they come through. Yo, Vivacious Joe, what's going on, man? Oh, First Class Fitness. We got two fitness guys in here. I love it. Check them out. First Class Fitness, welcome. Haven't seen you on in a while. I would give you a shout out, but my hands are tied. Hold on. That's a dad joke. Hey. Oh. Okay, sorry, Laura. Laura's like, what is happening? Oh, thank you, Pilates Mama. And can you give Vivacious Joe a shout out too? Yes, thank you. Two awesome fitness dudes here on Twitch. Oh man. All right, so let's come on out of that. Shake it out, shake it out. Gina, that's the counter I was trying to get set up for you. Oh, you were selling your house. Nice. I'd like to hear about that after class here. We're going to wrap things up. And, yeah, what do I want to do? I want to do a little bit of just that kind of spinal twist to get things, more of a thoracic spinal twist to calm things down here. So let's come to all fours. She's back today, folks. The fitness fam is here for sure. I really appreciate you guys being here. We'll do a little Q&A after the class as well so we can hang out and chat. So from all fours, we're going to reach up through that right arm. Exhale, thread it under. Alrighty. And we can land here. I've kind of pinned the outer shoulder to the floor. If it reaches, maybe your right ear comes to the ground. Option here to walk those fingertips forward. And so I've got this pin going. I imagine that my right palm is just nailed to the floor, and I'm trying to drag my shoulder blade away from the hand. And that's going to create a little bit more spread across the shoulder blades there. And we breathe. So I'm trying to get that right shoulder blade to spread out as much as I can here. Good. Let's come out of this nice and slow. We're going to use that left hand to press yourself back up, and we'll go into the other side. Alrighty. Oh, thank you, Pilates, for giving him a shout out. I shouted him out like right as he got in, so I don't think anyone was here. Yeah, Kitten's also another great fitness streamer on here. We're inhaling to reach up, feel the expansion of the ribs. Exhale, deflate, thread underneath, triple thread. All right. Strong body, strong mind. That's right. Kittens, you know it. We're going to make that team once one of us hits partner. Yeah, nice. Vivacious Joe, I hear that. I'm with you there, Vivacious Joe. So we're breathing here. Oh, I was going to do like I usually do an hour of Q&A afterwards where people ask about poses and I chit-chat and stuff, but I can cut it early if we want to go and raid your channel. I'm happy to do that today. We're taking a nap. Yeah. I've fallen and I can't get up, Celtsy. So here I've got my left hand pinned to the floor. You might even use your right hand if you're watching the side cam. You can kind of pin that hand and try to pull the back of your rib cage away. And that's going to give you that added stretch of the left shoulder blade. Yeah, exactly. Celtsy, I'm looking for something under my bed here. Yeah, the multiple angles, Celtsy, you got it on your channel. Really helps. Because then you don't have to move around. You know, you could be doing the same thing, and they can see it two at once. It's such a great resource. Too many dad jokes. You got to keep tally for me. Exclamation DJ. Yeah, we'll raid you, Vivacious Joe. We'll be in there in a bit. Good. Let's come on out of that. Right hand's going to press down, unwind here. Let's do that little tricep stretch one more time because it feels really good. And again, if you have the blocks, you can really use that. Yes, first class, you got it. Help me keep track. We're gonna get that counter up to who knows how much. We're gonna break the internet. All right, so we're down on our belly again. One more time. And if you weren't in here for it the first time, this is a nice little recap. We're going to go elbows out in front of you here. Palms are into prayer. As best you can, we're going to walk our elbows closer into the midline here. Forehead comes to the ground. And we can start to press palms together and bring the thumbs towards the back of the neck here. Okay, so there's a couple ways that we can add to the intensity of this stretch. One of them being bringing that prayer hand to the back of the neck. Another one would be to try to dome or just lift only the chest bone off of the floor here. Okay, so as we do that, we feel a little bit of the serratus anterior. We feel an added stretch going through the triceps. And if you have yoga blocks, you can make this deeper by setting up those blocks about shoulder width. Whoop. And then elbows planting. And now we're just working at a little bit more of a deficit. Okay, so same options apply. We can bring the prayer hands in a little bit more, and then we can try to just dome only the chest bone, not even the forehead, just the chest bone off the ground. Whew. There's that added stretch. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's let that go. We're going to come out of this nice and slow. I'm going to straighten my arms here and push these away. Let's go ahead and pancake flip whoopsh, onto our backs. We're winding down the class. Let me go this way so I can see the back of Laura's room. That's about all I see because you're also on the floor, which is all good. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Okay. You know what? Yeah, we started a little bit late. I want to do like a little bit of a dolphin crunch here. So we're going to take our right thigh, wrap it around our left. And maybe this is where you go. If you can get the double wrap of the feet around the calf, awesome. So I've got right thigh over the left. So we're going to take the left arm over the right and just come into basically eagle pose that is fallen. I'm a fallen eagle right now. Okay? So from this shape, we're going to try to press the elbows away from the body up towards the sky here. Your navel is pushing down into the floor. I hope Pumpkin is here because he loves this one. He says he's really good at them. So we're going to take an in-breath, and as you exhale, keep pressing that low back towards the floor. But as you're exhaling, you're breathing all of your air out. Get to empty, 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 empty. Maybe you can touch your elbows to your knees. And then we inhale. We're going to do about 5 on each side. As you exhale, focus on breathing all of that air out. I want that belt to get super tight. I'm quivering and I can't even talk. All right, notice my low back never pops up off the ground like this. We're pressing it down. I'm even holding here at the bottom of my breath. Ooh. What is this, 4, I think? No, I lost count, so let's call this 1. I'm kidding. Laura's like, no. All right, last one. Whoop, I almost lost the low back there. Check in with yourself. Did we lose it? Okay, let's unwind. Let's bring the feet as wide as your mat here. You can windshield wipe from side to side. We'll do the other side. We'll twist, and we'll shavas. All right, let me catch up on chat here real quick. Everyone in our circle has a kitty. Yeah, I want a cat. Oh, man, I need to get a cat from one of Vivacious Joe's friends. Okay. I always had kitties. Oh, no. Gosh, pest control for sure. Okay, let's do the other side. So the left thigh is going to wrap around the right. You can do one cross. That's more than enough. If you can get that, you got to bend both knees, but you can. Some of you can get the toes to wrap around the calf for that double wrap. Awesome. Okay. Move this out of the way. Yep, exactly. So left thigh is over right, so the right arm is going to go over left. That's how I remember it. It's kind of opposite. So we're going to pin that navel to the floor, right? See if we can flatten that back towards the ground, right? Elbows move away from you, so we feel that spread of the shoulder blades. Let's take a breath in. As you exhale, the entirety of the exhale, we're coming up the crunch. These aren't your Gold's Gym crunches. These are mindful as hell crunches. 5 is all you need if you're moving with, say it everybody, intention. We set our intention at the beginning of class. We're moving mindfully. We're not just banging out reps here. We're noticing what we feel. Ooh, my goodness. I'm feeling even just these. So core work gets way more potent when it is initiated and guided by the breath, in my opinion. And that's kind of like Pilates, you know? It's very mindful, trying to get everything to fire, not just doing the hardest possible variation and compensating everywhere. Last one for me, at least. I'm getting to empty. And coming out. Oh, my goodness. Let's bring the feet wide, windshield wipe side to side. Just give that a little break. Woo! I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. No, we won't do any more. So we're going to go into our spinal twists here. If you were able to get that double wrap and you liked that position, we can do the same thing here. So I'm going to take my right leg over my left. And really, before I do so, let's shift the hips over to the right edge of your mat. Okay. Now I'm going to wrap either once or twice, because 3 times is a lady. So I'm going to bring that knee down, let my whole body drop, and then that right arm comes up and over. So the cool part about this orientation of the legs is that it really locks the hips into this plane, right, perpendicular to the floor, so that your rotation is really coming from the waist up. When we just have knees stacked, we get that shearing of the knees because the hips are actually being pulled into the rotation. So if the wrap leg, let me just say that another way, if the wrap leg feels too intense, go to stacked knees and open, because it'll allow your hip to be drawn into some of that rotation and give you a little bit more room. But I like the double wrap. Good. So I like to start with my knees anchored, and then what I find is that oftentimes, maybe you can see it in the side cam, my shoulder is floating. So if I'm way off the floor, I might grab a pillow to close that gap. But oftentimes when we use our breath, specifically along exhale, we start to notice that shoulder melting closer to the floor. Melting away. We'll notice our inhales become a little restricted because the diaphragm is being twisted into this. Diaphragm is that big muscle that helps to draw air into our lungs. It kind of like pulls downwards, so it pulls the air, creates a pressure differential that pulls air into the lungs. It's really cool. Cool. We're going to unwind out of that twist. Oh, nice. Double wrap, yeah. Double wrap goes for spinal twists and chipotle burritos. All right, so to go to the other side, let's start by shifting our hips over to the left edge of your mat. Okay, left leg lifts up and over. Left leg lift. I love that alliteration there. So you can do 1 wrap or 2. like Kittens likes his burritos wrapped. And we're going to take those knees over to the side. Sorry for the butt shot here, but, you know, we're doing yoga. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right, so I've fallen over to my right side. I hope you guys are keeping track of those dad jokes, huh? Hashtag, or exclamation point DJ. And then I let my left arm, this is where I stop here. This is good. I'm glad you guys can see this, okay? You can even use your right hand and really anchor the knees. But I'm going to use my breath to see if I can get that arm to settle. Oh, I'm so close. Oh, there we go. Wow, feeling a little tight today. That's okay. You may notice a difference between your right and your left side. That's also, it can be normal. No need to judge it, but just become aware of it. Ah, sweet. So let's unwind out of this. We're going to get into our final Shavasana. Coming out of that twist nice and slow. So Shavasana is our ending pose, our final resting pose. This is corpse pose. And really not anything crazy about the setup here. We're just laying our body down, letting the legs go, letting the arms go alongside the body, palms facing up into the air. And we're just closing the eyes and letting go of that conscious breath here. So you can just become an observer again. You're not the controller here. Just notice how the body wants to breathe on its own. You know, if we've been doing those nice deep breaths through class, just notice the contrast here as the body needs so much less air than what we were taking in. And as we settle, see if you can feel each limb becoming heavier and heavier. And as you let go of muscular tension, of thoughts of what your body should or shouldn't be doing, you just kind of sink into this place of still serenity. I like when my body starts to twitch through the fingers and the chest. That's how I know that I'm really kind of off. You know, you can think of yourself as like brain in a jar here, just everything in your body letting go. And to practice even the most basic type of meditation, we can just take inventory of what we can feel in our body. Without moving anything, just kind of take your mind like a trip through Jurassic Park through your body. Clever girl. But in doing so, we hone the skill of tuning into our body. And by seeking and focusing on the sensations through your body in this moment, it helps us to remain in the present. We can't really feel into our leg if we're thinking about our grocery list. You know, that's in the future, that's not now. But sometimes giving our mind a simple task of feeling into different parts of our body, or just paying attention to our inhale and exhale, that can be a nice anchor for our mind to stay in the now. Good. Let's begin to deepen the breath, taking control once more. Finding some movement through the fingers and toes. Maybe into the wrists, ankles. Squirming up into the elbows, into the knees. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a big inhale. Stretch the body from tip to toe. Good. You can try that lion's breath with me as we do this one more time. Inhale. Stretch the body long. Big breath in. Open the mouth. Stick your tongue out as long as it'll go. Great job. Bring the knees into the chest. That's called lion's breath. And we're going to bring the knees over to the side, allowing your body to roll. We're going to finish with 3 rounds of Om. Let me get my Shruti box out. I should have had this ready to go, but alas, here we are now. The Shruti box. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to catch up on chat after this. So our Om chant is how we're closing class today. All it is we're singing Aum 3 times, okay? For some, it can have great meaning, the sound of the universe, the collective sound of all of our consciousness together. Or it can just be, you can think about it as feeling vibrations in your body. And if you want to just keep it really simple, it's a nice long exhale. And when we lengthen our exhales, we tap into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest, digest, and repair. Okay, so it can have deep spiritual meaning, or it can just calm us the hell down. So feel free to join in with me, or you can just enjoy the sounds as we go through this. I'm going to use the Shruti box to kind of give us a little bit of a tone here. It's much nicer when you're in person and you can hear it. It's got like a nice reedy timbre. Maybe you can hear it. So we've come up to seated. This is called a Shruti box. So I'm pumping it with air. The air is blowing through and vibrating the reeds, which these little things open up like keys on a piano. So I'm playing a 5th interval here, a C and a G. For all you music nerds out there. All right, so we're in a seated position. Hands can be on the thighs or in prayer. Option here to close the eyes. We're going to take a breath cycle before we begin our 3 rounds. Inhale. Exhale, breathing everything out. Big breath in for Om. Thank you so much for being here. If you were taking class, Laura, thank you so much for being here on Zoom. If you were hanging out on Twitch, I appreciate you guys being here. Even if you're just lurking, still, it's a pleasure to have you here. The light in me bows to the light in you, and we say namaste. Yes.